You're gonna have to speak up. I'm just getting over a cold. Welcome to the Scale Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. It's episode 122 of What's on the Bench Weekly. And if you're not familiar with this show, it's where I take you through the projects that I'm working on, things that are on the bench, things that I've built, ugly things that I've painted. It's all here. And if you're new to this channel, desk is filthy. Welcome. We do all kinds of tips and tricks, reviews, builds, all kinds of stuff. Mostly in the scale realm, but I also like to bash every once in a while too. So be sure to check out all the other stuff on this channel. Like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, all those good things. All right. First thing on the bench this week, primer artifact taken. This thing is so big. It's so massive. Look at the size of this thing. As you can see, still in its very naked state. I haven't actually done the priming and painting that I promised I would do, but I did focus on some mechanical things. We've got drive shafts now, and hopefully these roof panels won't fall off. But yes, you can see some very nice long metal drive shafts there. Those are from Deluxe. And what he does, what he offers, I've got an extra one somewhere. Where'd it go? Where did I put that thing? Oh yeah, here's one of them here. I can't remember what they're called. I'm sure they've got a special name. But these are really interesting in that they are telescoping. That the interesting part is not that they are telescoping drive shafts. The interesting part is that they're cuttable telescoping drive shafts. So you can kind of cut them to whatever size you want. Obviously, you can't cut them to be longer than this is, but you can cut them to be shorter. And I needed very long drive shafts in the front, oddly enough, mostly because of the way I've modified this primer artifact taken. You may or may not remember that I decided not to go with the SSD scale transmission that they suggest. I put a Vanquish VFD in there because I like it, and it's much better than that SSD one. Nothing against that SSD transmission, but it's meant for scale builds and doesn't have any, doesn't have the same amount of torque or speed that the VFD has. This thing is gonna rip. It's gonna go way faster than it probably should. But I really do like how robust that VFD transmission is, and I knew that I wanted to do that pretty much from the outset as soon as I saw the kit. Man, this thing is so big, it's hard to sort of visualize how big it is on the bench, but it is quite large. Anyway, these telescoping drive shafts are great. They work fantastically well, and you just need a good cutting tool to cut them. Of course, you don't cut them on both sides. One is keyed. One side is keyed. As you can see, goes into the input there, or output, I guess, depending on what side you put it on. And then you just trim this side, and because it's also keyed on either side, you just release these grub screws, and then put it back to whatever length you've made it. Pretty great drive shaft. Very easy to modify, especially in a big project like this where it needs something a little custom. Works perfectly. What else can we say about this? Well, the protective coating is still on all of this very cool thermonuclear glass. That'll get taken off once I've primed and painted it. I do have a theme in mind, and hopefully that all works out. So yeah, it's up and running. It's a fun truck, definitely very unique. Hopefully we'll get this one wrapped up soon and take it out for a rip. All right, so that's the first thing on the bench today. Get this out of the way and we'll put something else up here on the bench, of which there are many. This is a busy episode, so hold on to your butts. Wait, I should hold on to your butts. Love that scene. All right, on to the next thing. Keep the theme of big things on the bench for the first portion of this video. Here's the next one. This is the Traxxas Maxx Slash, and you can see I've got the new Pro Scale aluminum wheels on the Maxx Slash. Traxxas sent these my way to test out. it's a pretty cool system. It does require a lot of kind of pre-planning because these things come in multiple boxes and you need to order parts based on the truck that you're building. They are currently for the Maxx Slash. They also are going to offer an adapter so they will fit on the UDR. They come in multiple colors, clear, bronze, like I've got here, red, black, orange, green, blue as well. Very cool system, very nice looking wheels. However, they're not really totally a aluminum wheel replacement. They sort of are. Let me see if I can explain this best. The system, as it's kind of laid out, it comes with a belted tire that has a pre-glued insert already in it. So these are the newer tires with the belts, so they reduce on the ballooning factor. But because of this glued in plastic portion, the face and the beadlock ring, they key together and then they get screwed into that plastic assembly that's already glued into the wheel. As far as I know, you cannot buy that plastic assembly separately, so it's all going to be part of the tire and wheel combo. However, the hex is all on the aluminum portion, so that's not likely to fail anytime soon. They also do come with this really nice center cap, which unfortunately, because I've already upgraded my Maxx Slash to metal drive shafts, doesn't work. If you're using the original plastic drive shafts, this kind of goes in the center section like that, and then you get a regular nut and you put that over the top. I'm using the 17 mil hex conversion, so none of that works, which is okay. It still looks fine just as is. I actually think it's a really nice visual improvement over the stock wheels and tires. It just adds a whole other level of kind of finish and class to an already very classy looking vehicle. I'm keen to get this one out as soon as all of that ice has finally melted. This is such a blast. I love this truck so much. The one disadvantage, well, actually I guess second technically, because it's not a true beadlock wheel, because there is the plastic insert in the tire already, is the price. They're not cheap. It's definitely something that's going to be on the more enthusiast side of things. People who really love Traxxas and want to dress up their Maxx Slash or their UDR in the future are going to be the people that are going to buy these. They're not for everybody, and that's one thing I think we have to remember. Not every product is going to appeal to everybody. Like, what is this scale guy doing with this Maxx Slash anyway? You know me, I like to go fast every once in a while and try not to hit objects. Anyway, if you haven't seen me do the paint job on this truck, this is sort of an homage to Lando Norris's helmet from his 2024 season, and now his 2025 season is very similar to this one. If you want to see that painting demo again, I will put a link right up there. Be sure to check that out at your leisure. Speaking of leisure, if you have extra leisure time, you might want to consider joining the channel membership, where we do all kinds of insider videos where only you get to see those. Pretty fun stuff, lots of tips and tricks, behind the scenes content, travel logs, how-tos, whatever may tickle my fancy. And possibly your fancy. Let's just tickle each other. Yeah. So if you're interested in that, I will put if you are interested in that, I will post a link down below. By all means, check that out. And if not, just to keep enjoying all these other free videos. That works too. Of course, thanks to Traxxas for sending these wheels my way so I could give them a test. I think they look amazing. Lifting this truck up is not easy. Anyway, great looking wheel, nice combo. I think it actually suits this Maxx Slash very, very nicely. All right, on to the next thing. Get this other giant thing off the bench. All right, next on the bench, we've got a very controversial body. This is the PLAID body from Reefs RC. Reef sent this to me a few weeks ago after ridiculing it mercilessly on the live stream. And here it is in all of its glory. Really designed to be a very comp-inspired body. You can see that this one has very few lines. But I wanted to do something kind of fun with it, so I painted up this sort of plague-ish theme. It says the plague right on the front. It's also got this plague doctor on the side here, and all of these pustules in various stages of pussiness. Certainly one of my more interesting paint jobs. I really did want to make it feel like it's sick, kind of like me right now. But yeah, it painted up beautifully. This is super easy to paint because there's not a lot of tight spaces there. The fenders are nice. I do like that they kind of still incorporated a bit of a fender there. And it is, you know, designed for comps. They've actually got a little divot here, right there, actually, for you to do one of those twisty comp body post things. I'm not sure where it would fit on this chassis. This is the Axial SCX10 Pro that I converted to portal axles. I don't remember when I did that. It must have been a while ago. Anyway, just wanted to kind of show that off as an option. Something that they're sold out of right now. Dealers still have a few, I guess, but Reefs has already sold all of them. I guess maybe they made 10. They can take it. They can dish it out and they can take it. They're good guys. I really do appreciate having Reefs around. They do send me a lot of really great stuff. Just not this body. Hope you like it though. If you've got ideas for other paint jobs maybe you want to see in the future, put a comment down below. You know I love reading through your feedback and I try to answer as many of those comments as I can. All right, let's leave this chassis here and take this body away for what's next. Some of you might know that I'm a bit of a fan of Volvos. I drive a Volvo. I drove this as a Suga, which is the Volvo 4x4 military-ish truck from a very long time ago. I 3D printed that one. It was quite popular for its ugliness, and we actually did a run of carbon fiber bodies, and now I have mine. Thomas Bialzik, one of our longtime watchers, not always time commenters, he made this body, and he did a kick-ass job of it too. Man, this is carbon fiber, and it's smooth as silk, and it looks fantastic. Now I've just kind of plopped it on here. I don't think I used either of the bumpers on the actual comp body when I did it, but that's basically how it looked. And man, what an awesome body. It's such a weird shape, and it does really lend itself to comps. It's quite narrow up front, kind of fat in the rear, and quite lightweight, especially now that it's carbon fiber. I think mine was I did printed and then I laid some carbon fiber on the inside to kind of give it a bit more strength. But now that it's all carbon fiber, it's honestly so spectacular. I cannot wait to get this all mounted up. I might actually, instead of using the SCX10 Pro, well actually, no, that's not true. I'm gonna use the SCX10 Pro for this carbon fiber one, but I'm gonna use a VRD carbon for this plaid version, which is so wild. I can't even believe that Thomas was able to do this. This is all done with, instead of carbon fiber, just fabric. It's fabric. There's no carbon fiber in it. This is wild. It's so crazy. I cannot believe that he was able to do this. It's amazing. I'm really, really, really blown away. I'm almost speechless about how cool this is. Thomas is a very, very cool guy. Very generous with his time. He built somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 of these bodies, and to have a plaid version of this in my collection is like, there's no words to describe how amazing that is. I'm so utterly chuffed. So thank you, Thomas, for bringing this bizarre thing to life. It's really been a journey. And those of you who have one of the carbon fiber bodies, your sticker sheets are almost ready. I've sent them off to the printer, and we should have those back soon, and I'll be mailing those out to all of the people who own one of these bodies. So there you go. And I think Thomas might have a few blems, which will obviously his level of blem versus my level of blem would be two entirely different things. So maybe watch out for those. Maybe you'll be able to get your hands on one. It won't be plaid though. That's for me. All right, on to the next thing. Sometimes I forget that there's two cameras and I have to, focus my attention here, but also make sure whatever I'm showing is in frame over here. Here is the Rockabilly. Nothing has changed since the last time. However, I did get my Send Cut Send order. That came in just today, actually. So now we've got, I ordered 2 sets of all the panels. 2 sets of the aluminum panels, so the side panels there, which I believe have to be bent, which I'm a little bit nervous about doing, but I'm sure I can handle that. Same thing with the hood. I don't know what these pieces are. I think they're probably, oh yeah, they're like a skid for the bottom there to kind of seal in that portion. And then I also got 2 of the, what are these? The monster truck or mud truck conversions for a Fordyce or any VS410. I picked those up for no reason other than to do it. So yeah, there you go. That's what is going on with the Rockabilly. So at least there's some progress of some description. Not much, but I got lots of time. Lots of time for that. No time at all. No time like the present. All right, on to the next thing. Here is my Night Customs Terabug. This is the printable set of files from Night Customs to completely change the look of your Vanquish H10 optic. And I am so happy that I printed these out and spent some real time on these body panels because I am so thrilled with the results. I wanted to keep the throttle therapy theme, and I knew that putting these Terabug panels on, I needed to do something really fun with it and really kind of flex my painting muscles as best that I could. Now, there were a few different processes here required in order to get this looking so smooth so quickly. Instead of sanding all of these panels, because they are 3D printed and no matter how great a printer you have, there are going to be layer lines. There's just no way around it. James Knight does a great job though of orienting all of the prints in his 3MF files before you even buy them, so they are already oriented to limit those layer lines as best as possible. That said, you're still going to need to do some sanding or some kind of finishing if you want them to be smooth. I opted to go for my resin smoothing technique, which worked so well. There was an insider's video on how I do it, but luckily for everybody else who's not an insider, there is a video I did a long time ago for the Scale Nationals that goes over the entire process itself, so you can go ahead and watch that again from the past. It is a great technique, super easy to do. I will recommend PPE. A mask is always a good idea, rubber gloves for sure, and ventilate your room as much as possible. It does result in great looking smooth panels with minimal sanding. And if there's one thing I hate in this hobby, more than building shocks or links, it's sanding. So the less of that you can do, the better. After I did all that resin smoothing, I did go ahead and paint all of the panels in multiple shades of brown. I used my airbrush, I used some spray cans, and then I used the salt technique, which is just literal table salt, kind of sprayed all over wet panels. Let that dry, then paint your top coats, which was black and teal for me. Then using warm water and a light rubbing, you'll get all that salt to dissolve, and then you've got this great looking rust technique. Everything looks quite realistic, like it's actually rusty. I don't know if you can see that as well on there, but it's a really awesome technique and it looks fantastic. Then I went ahead and used my Cricut to cut out all the masks for all the associated logos, Night Customs, KMC, Throttle Therapy, Yokohama, Vanquish Products, and painted everything with my airbrush and some masks. That's it. And then you've got this great looking, very unique custom buggy with a rear motor, which I think actually looks quite good back there. Apparently it's not quite accurate, but that's fine. I'm going to let that slide. For having something so unique and so interesting, I'm really thrilled with this whole build. And I wanted to keep that throttle therapy theme because I really like those colors. I already had the Plink beadlock rings, so I wasn't about to swap those out for something else. Overall, very happy with this. I honestly, it just changed the whole look. And if you want more information on where to get these panels, you should definitely check out knightcustoms.com, where he has a great subscription service where you can get these files cheaper over a period of time, if that's something you're into. It also does come with a full printable interior with a non-functioning driver as well. 3 different helmet styles too, so you can really go wild with this if you like. Or you can just, if you're not into this whole painting and detailing and customizing sort of thing, you can always just find one of his registered printers and buy the printed panels ready to go, ready to put on your H10 optic. All right. I think that's going to do it for this week, though. My thanks, of course, to everybody. Traxxas, Thomas Bialzik, James Knight, everybody. And, of course, you for watching. We'll see you again next week.